Good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Mubina Kabasi. Markets, meantime, have taken a bit of a breather after that uptick that we witnessed in the last 2 days. But before we proceed with the show, here's once again thanking all our viewers for continuously keeping ET now as your #1 choice to tune into business news, market news, opinions and views, and trusting ET now to get you the best and unbiased analysis of all the news that you need to know. Pole position of 56%, beating all other business news channels single-handedly. Once again, thank you, viewers. All right. Well, of course, on that note, let's now talk about the markets then. And we are 0.25% down for the Nifty. The Sensex is losing approximately 88%. Like I said, it's a bit of a breather that the markets are taking after the gains we saw yesterday and day before yesterday. However, broader markets continue to stay in the red. Take a look at the small cap index, down 0.7% and now below even the 6,000 mark. The mid cap index is losing approximately 1% odd. So the losses in the broader markets only continue unabatedly. But the show is all about, of course, individual movers and shakers, and to do just that, we have with us today on the show joining in Kunal Bothra. He'll just join us in a bit, but on the technicals, we are joined by Mr. USFDA. He's a mentor and technical expert, and as always, Soumya Sharma for the stocks and news. So thanks to all of you for joining in. And let's kickstart the show with the very first stock and the big news maker, the big result reaction from yesterday. Yes Bank's first quarter numbers, a miss on all fronts, and look at the sort of volatility that continues yet again below 100. Soumya, what's the street verdict? How were the numbers?
Well, yes, the numbers were pretty much not really great, especially they were disappointing on the asset quality front. Even in the con call, it was highlighted that BB and below rated book stood at 29,000 crore rupees, well, which saw an increase in this quarter, and watch list of 10,000 crore from BB and below rated book. Net slippages were close to about 4,500 crore from watch list and this BB rated book. And the company, in fact, they said that they're looking at capital raising, which would be the mega event when they move into Q2, that's the second quarter. And in fact, not just this, even the brokerage notes and reports are cutting their EPS estimates, their target price and earning estimates for Yes Bank. Even CLSA, be it CLSA, JP Morgan, everybody has actually cut in their price targets and earning estimates as far as Yes Bank is concerned. And we're seeing this sharp reaction coming in the stock. It's losing close to about 11.5% right now.
Okay, there you have it. That is Yes Bank, a massive walloping that the stock has received today in trade. Kunal, you have a buy on BEML. What is making you optimistic here? Okay, unfortunately, we don't have Kunal with us, but yes, just to reiterate what Kunal's stance is on BEML, he has a buy over here with a target at 980 rupees, and he's placed his stop loss for the stock at 900 rupees. So yes, it's almost a 60 rupee up move that he expects the stock could go to, but make sure you keep your stop loss at 900 on this buy strategy that Kunal is recommending. Tata Elixir, and take a look at that stock. Yesterday, remember, reacting to the first quarter numbers, perhaps we had seen the stock fall quite a bit. However, we did have some news yesterday. A Vendis Enhanced Fund has sold about 3.6 lakh shares at 755 odd rupees. So that perhaps may be the reason why we did see heightened volume activity yesterday. And now that the name of the seller has been revealed, a Vendis Enhanced Fund, we are seeing a continuous downward tick come by in the stock price. Now it is in fact at 738 rupees. So moved below even the 740 rupee. Tata Elixir continues its downward journey. Okay, Mr. Fidai, Dabur, let's talk about that one. Consumption companies, of course, have always been touted for their high valuations. Now, you have a sell on Dabur at 434. What's the reason?
Actually, the stock has risen from 376 approximately, almost 50% rise in last you can say in a month's time. So it needs a little bit of breather, and it is also facing a strong resistance, 10-line resistance from the top. And that's coming around at 435, 440 between that area. So one can go short around 438, 440, keep a tight stop loss at 442, 444, and expect the target of 415, 410 in extreme short term.
Okay, there you have it. That, of course, is a sell on Dabur from Mr. Fidai. Okay, Soumya, let's talk about Wipro. Again, a reaction to the first quarter numbers. Firstly, how are the numbers and what's the brokerage verdict?
Well, mixed set of numbers reported by Wipro. So, barring revenue, which was below the estimates, the others, margin, PAT, and guidance were pretty much in line with with our expectations. The Q2 guidance, they're expecting IT services revenue in range of 2,039 to 2,080 million US dollars, with that tantamounts to 0 to 2% of growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis. As far as brokerage is concerned, we have mixed reviews coming in. Macquarie said that they're maintaining neutral with the target price of 270 per share, and Credit Suisse said that they're maintaining the underperformed stance with the target price of 240 per share. So in overall, nothing too exciting when it comes to Wipro. However, the stock's gaining close to about 3.3%.
Well, yeah, not that great a set of numbers, more or less in line with expectations. But yeah, you're seeing a nice uptick come by in the stock of Wipro. Continuing with the countdown then, and Torrent Pharma is a stock in news. Remember, Kunal had flagged this stock off yesterday. Today, however, we are seeing it lose in trade. This after the USFDA has classified the inspection at the Dahej facility as an OAI. Remember, an OAI is not necessarily the best news for a pharmaceutical company's unit which has undergone inspection, by the USFDA. Now, essentially, it means official action initiated. Remember, Dahej's contribution to the United States sale is less than 10%, but it is a critical plant in terms of new launches. So that's the reason why you are seeing the stock price reaction. Of course, the major concern in the Form 483 was also high invalidations of OOS tests. So all of that is causing the stock to come under pressure. Mr. Fidai, let's talk about UPL. We had seen the stock emerge as one of the top movers yesterday in trade. Today, it's continuing that upward momentum. Your view here?
Well, I would say the stock has seen extreme volatility from 555 to 710 in just last month, huge volatility. And I believe the stock is now seeing a little bit of bounce from and lots of problems here on chart actually. So I would not recommend a buy. Rather, I would be telling our viewers that if they have this, to hold it with a stick stop loss around 638, and on the rise, one should exit around 690, 700. That is my view.
Okay, so that is Mr. Fidai's view coming in then on a UPL, which is, by the way, 1/3% higher. Okay, continuing with the countdown, United Spirits. We have been talking about most of these liquor companies showing a lot of action. Let's now talk about Kunal's view on this one. Hi, Kunal, you have a buy here?
So yes, Mubina, and I think the stock is on the verge of a breakout. Now, technical chart patterns are suggesting that the stock is showing signs of a strength in a market which is now getting a bit wobbly and volatile. It's holding on to those levels of 600 plus, and volumes have also been quite positive for the stock price. So price-wise, it's a breakout, which the stock has confirmed above 600 levels. And if it closes above 600 today, then I believe that even on closing basis, this confirmation could, be a follow-through for United Spirits stock price. I believe that the stock could now, head towards 640 levels. That should be positional targets for the stock price, and stop loss to be kept at 580.
Okay, so that's the word on United Spirits. Soumya, Mindtree, how are the numbers for this one?
Well, not great set of numbers. In fact, even when you look at the stock price, it's falling close to about 6.3%, reflecting that the numbers were not as per what the street was expecting. The dollar revenue was merely up by 0.8% on a sequential basis. EBITDA was down by 34.3%. In fact, there was a one-time bonus which significantly dented the margins and the profits as well. The margins stood at 10% versus 15.2% on a sequential basis. Apart from this, Macquarie, following the results, came out with a note, and they've downgraded the stock to underperform with the target price of 660 rupees per share. In fact, they've even cut their EPS estimate sharply by 21.6 to 24.8%. So not really great set of numbers when it comes to Mindtree. In fact, the stock has been lately in a lot of focus over its hostile takeover by L&T, and let's see how the company fares in the coming quarters.
All right, look at the walloping the stock has taken today in trade, more than 6% gone. But it's time for a quick check on the RWI Small Case Index. Remember, it's the latest innovation coming in from ET now, and in continuation with our show tagline, that is Rise with India. Remember, it's essentially comprising stocks that represent the Indian economy, and today we are seeing the index take a bit of a beating. It's down by about 0.2%. Do remember, that overall the markets as well have been a bit sluggish. And of course, like I said, the RWI small case index essentially represents the true story of the Indian economy, with perfect representation from financial services names as well as consumer discretionary names. Today, however, it is showing a bit of a sluggish move. Okay, continuing with the countdown, Mr. Fidai, IRB Infra. You know, we've seen the stock be very sluggish in the recent past. All that budget excitement now seems to have faded away. What would you recommend here?
Well, I would recommend to avoid longs absolutely to our investor viewers because the stock is trading below all moving averages. You can say extreme short-term to even long-term averages. So one should use the rise, if there is any rise, to 107 or 115. That would be a good exit opportunity. If the stock starts trading below 80, then it can go all the way up to 65 or 50 rupees also.
Okay, there you have it. That, of course, is something that Mr. Fidai is recommending. Nestle, meantime, and there's an update coming in over here that Nestle has given yesterday in trade. Maggi Fusion has recorded overwhelming sales on Amazon Prime Day, and you are seeing the stock, while it opened on a strong footing, has now completely given up those gains and is in fact trading in the red. In fact, FMCG as a pack is weak except for a few names which we will flag off, today right now, in fact, over the course of the show. Okay, Kunal, let's talk about Adani Power. What makes you optimistic on this stock?
So it's a high beta stock, and generally high beta stocks, they tend to take a beating in a market which is getting a bit nervous, jittery, or a bit volatile. But we've seen a completely different trend for the stock price. I think in the last 1.5 months, it's risen from the sub 50 levels to 65, 66, with the stock tested in a few days back, and now it's going through a consolidation. So the pattern in the last 1.5 months getting formed is a typical bullish flag pattern. The stock is consolidating in a range. So I think if the overall chart pattern remains bullish, I believe that dips of this time base as well as prices consolidation towards 58 marks should be taken as good buying opportunities, assuming that this flag pattern could get completed and the stock may break out yet again. So Adani Power could be a buy on dips candidate, especially till levels of 58 on spot levels.
Okay, Adani Power is managing to stay pretty strong, and like Kunal mentioned, a high beta stock. Today it's higher by 0.7%. And Soumya, more frauds are being unearthed at some of these smaller PSU banking names, and this time around it's Punjab and Sindh Bank.
Well, exactly, that's right. In fact, the company has reported 238.3 crore of borrowing fraud in Bhushan Power case, and in fact they've said that they've already provided for close to about 189.4 crore rupees. Having said that, this is the third bank which has reported such a fraud case in Bhushan Power. Earlier it was Punjab National Bank and Allahabad Bank, along with this now joining the list is Punjab Sindh Bank. It's losing close to about 3.5% on back of this news flow.
Okay, that is Punjab and Sindh Bank for you, 3.5% gone. Ever ready, meantime, and the problematic situation for the counter continues as it continues to stay unable to service its debts. Now, India Ratings has downgraded the long-term credit rating to BBB from BB, and not just that, the ratings watch as well has been maintained at negative. So, like I said, the not so good news for Ever Ready continues, and not to mention, we constantly have debenture trustee groups essentially invoking the pledged shares by various promoter entities in these companies. So that as well is something to watch out for. Okay, quick break right here on Market Fatafat, but do come right back. We'll continue with the countdown of the movers and shakers. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. Once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our viewers for keeping ET Now once again at pole position in terms of market share. We've single-handedly managed to beat all the other business news channels combined. Thank you. Okay, well, let's continue with the countdown then. And CARE Ratings, after ICRA, it looks like even CARE Ratings has been forced to send its MD and CEO on leave. Soumya?
Right after ICRA, seems like CARE even has to step in and has to send MD and CEO Rajesh Mokshi on leave until further notice. Well, this all is coming as a development to the entire ILNFS case. Well, Mokshi has been sent on leave post-examination of anonymous complaint received by SEBI, and in place, the company has appointed Executive Director Arun Kumar as the interim CEO. Apart from this, they've also appointed Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs Chairman Najib Shah as the additional director on the board, along with the appointment of interim CEO. But the stock, however, is losing close to about 5% on back of the fact that there has been a management instability and the fact the company has been involved in the entire ILNFS saga.
Well, yeah, and the stock price as well is taking a beating, down 5%. Mr. Fidai, you have a buy on CEAT. What is it that you're observing here and what makes you optimistic?
Well, the stock has been making right kind of noises on chart. Though it has been drifting, right now it is not falling so sharply. It shows that the whole fall has been arrested. RSI also seems to be positive around this area and giving positive divergences. One can look at buying on dips rather. That would be my call, around 860, 855, and keep a very tight stop loss at 848. So that would be a low risk bet for target of 935, 955 in extreme short.
Okay, so buy around 860 and a target at 955. That's Mr. Fidai's recommendation on CEAT. Okay, aluminium stocks will be in focus this after global aluminium major Alcoa has cut the industry outlook for the 2019 aluminium demand. Do remember that we have had, this is not the first time that Alcoa has actually cut the industry outlook or the demand outlook, and in turn that does tend to hamper even Indian aluminium makers, which will of course, may actually rather see the impact of this outlook cut come in on their stock price, on sentiment as well. More than 1% gone for Hindalco, just managing to hold on above 200. Okay, Kajaria Ceramics today, in fact, we are seeing some pricing action in the stock price, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, in fact, it's down more than 4%. And Kunal, you believe that there is perhaps more a possibility that this one will continue to go lower from here too?
Looks like, Mubina, in fact, in the morning show today, I had given a sell call on Kajaria Ceramics. Now, anticipating that the stock is about to break some key support levels. There was weakness in terms of chart patterns. And the key was, yesterday when the stock was down, it managed to just about touch the the breakdown point of the key support point, but the volumes were much higher. So it was probably an anticipation that such kind of a high volumes at a key support level are generally cases of tipping point where the stock gives to these support levels and it drags lower. So that anticipation is now working for Kajaria Ceramics, and I now sense that the stock has opened one fresh leg on the downside. The nearest support, the next support for the stock price is closer to 520, and I believe that the stock should be heading towards that in the next couple of days.
All right, Kajaria is down by approximately 4%. Samya, let's talk about NMDC officially receiving the order from the Karnataka High Court.
Well, yes, indeed, the company now would be resuming operations at the Donimalai plant. Well, after closure of this plant for more than 8 months, the company is now set to start their operations again. In fact, they have now approached the Karnataka government to facilitate the execution of the lease deed and resuming the operations at this mining plant. And in fact, earlier, the Indian Bureau of Mines had imposed 80% of premium while extending lease periods. Is now, as after the order has been set aside, and the company would be able to start and resume their operations and avoid further losses. Stock, however, is off from the day's high, but is gaining close to about 0.3% right now.
Okay, there you have it. That is NMDC, 0.25% higher. Mr. Fidai, SRF, there's been a lot of activity around this stock. It had recently touched a record high, but since then, it's been cooling off quite a bit. What would you recommend?
Well, I was looking at, sell on rise basically around 2,800, 2,850. The stock has already gone below the support areas today. It can go down all the way up to 2610, 2,600. That is a very good area to go long right now if it comes to that area. And otherwise sell on rise up to 2,800, 2,850. Keep a tight stop loss at 2,865.
Okay, 2,865 is a stop loss, but yes, it's a clear sell on rise on SRF. ACC, we are expecting the second quarter numbers today. ACC, remember, follows the calendar year. Top line growth of 1.4%. Volumes as well will be an important parameter to watch out for. Margins are seen absolutely stable, 16.2 versus 16.1, and profits are seen higher by 14%. So A very quiet set of numbers in the second quarter compared to what they had done in the corresponding quarter on a standalone basis. And I suppose that's the reason why we're seeing a very quiet move as well come by on the stock price today. It's just lower by about 1/3%. Kunal, Maruti, another low for Maruti, and we have had brokerages maintain their optimistic stance, but this stock continues to go lower. Your view?
Yes, Mubina, the stock continues to drag lower. It's below its longer-term averages, 50 and the 200 moving averages. And the key is that even mild bounces have been taken as shorting opportunities. Now, one of the observations which I would want to highlight for Maruti is that in the last 7 or 8 days, when the stock dragged lower from 6,300 to 5,900, then a mild bounce of 100-200 points, and then a continuation of sell-off. In the entire process, the delivery volumes for Maruti had dropped. Now, when you don't see a delivery or increase in delivery volumes, which means traders or long-term investors, they generally don't see that the stock is forming a near-term bottom in place. So I believe that looking at the delivery stats, the way the stock price trend is behaving, I believe that the Maruti can continue to drag a bit lower from current levels as well.
All right, that is the word then on a Maruti. It's more than 2% gone in trade for this one. And in fact, it's even sub that 6,000 rupee mark. So yes, it's another level breached for the counter. Some interesting buys on Sudarshan Chemicals.
Well, that's right. The recent buys coming in from Amansa Holdings bought close to about 10 lakh shares at the price of 315 per share, and this is the entire fund is operated by Akash Prakash, and now with this he'll be joining Akash Bansali and Vijay Kedia as owning some stake in this company. In fact, Amansa was recently in news for acquiring almost 5% in Laurus Labs via 3 bulk deals, and right now talking about Sudarshan Chem, it's gaining close to about 4.5% on back of this bulk deal.
Okay, yes, it's a nice uptick seen in Sudarshan, but with that, we are out of time. So, Mr. Fidai, thank you for sharing your technical strategies. Kunal and Soumya, to you as well. We will wrap it up, but coming up after a very short break is Markets at Noon.